And I'm going to be doing the Pleasant Valley Wine Trail over a couple of days. And I'm going to see if it is something worth your time. And I have a feeling it probably is. You probably won't visit it on your first trip to Paso because you'll go to the major wineries. But if you come back or you're staying here long enough, I'm thinking this might be a must-travel route. Neither here nor there is in my favorite place, Paso, but trying something totally new, the Pleasant Valley Wine Trail that I'd never heard of before, and now I will never forget, and I will go back. I'm on my way to a winery that I've never been to before. It is a Harvest Host, but I had to cancel. Long and boring story about why I had to cancel. But the people were so very nice that I thought, I've got to go to this winery anyway. So I made a reservation to go and visit the winery. And the name of the winery is Four Sisters. And it is off of the 46 highway, which is a major highway, one of the two major ways you get into town. And it's close to one of the RV resorts that I've stayed in before. Very pretty. Okay, so this is the entrance to Four Sisters. Ooh. I'm here at Four Sisters Ranch and Vineyard, whatever. It's lovely. It's quiet. Okay, there's music in the background, but I don't know if you can hear the birds. I can hear the birds, and at a very far distance, I could also hear a barking dog. So this is a lovely location. It's not as majestic as Dow, but I don't think most places are. But this is just lovely. It's off the beaten path, so you have to want to come here, or you get lost and you find yourself here. I'm going to take a little picture of the back since I'm parked in the parking area. So here you can see the big old wine vats. I don't know what they're called. I'll have to ask. And then also some barrels, which it'd be so easy if I were super strong to put one in the back of my car, hopefully full. One of these vat things is, you can't really see it so well. It's dented. Either some really strong bird hit it, or it got dropped maybe when they were bringing it in, because I can't imagine how it would get a dent up there. But look, no matter which winery I was visiting, no matter how I turned around and looked at the views, they were all wonderful. Some magnificent, some pretty, some kind of awe-inspiring. Different, but great. Serena and her husband were doctors in Southern California, not far from where I was from. That's a nice place to sit.
My name is Elizabeth. Welcome to Four Sisters. And I just serving for you the Kikoa Port Style 2015. This Kikoa is 100% Negrette. This Negrette only grown one place in California close to Hollister. It's serving in 3 different places in the country and this style. And here is one, Four Sisters. And then by sales like a dark chocolate flavors, but if you put it with dark chocolate, it's gonna be even better, right?
Oh, it was incredible with the dark chocolate.
So, and then the vintage 2013, 2014 get a gold medal international competitions. As soon as we have the real labels and the whole bottles, we're gonna send to the competition to see what's going on.
You might get kind of sick of all my videos of the road, but I love this road. I drove very slowly, so you'll see it's 2 times speed, because otherwise, you really would be sick of it. But it's so different, and it was so interesting, it was so pretty, and I can't imagine how beautiful it will be in the summertime or in the fall. I'm gonna go to Cane Cellars. You'll see a little more later, but Cane is a 5-line poem. Here's one made up by either club members or people who work there. Planted, pruned, picked, and pressed, all by hand on our land, we share our art form and passion with you. I am here, and I'm squinting, if you can tell, because I'm looking into the sun, which is good, because then the sun doesn't mess up the camera, and I have my mask on. I'm at Cane Cellars on Pleasant Valley Wine Trail. Okay, so this is more of a truly working winery than, some of the other places where the taste, whoa, I like that one, where the tasting rooms take up some. Take it that's for me. Equipment. I'm pretty darn sure you throw the grapes in the top of that and something comes out. Probably something that will go over here. And this is the perfect thing to serve for wine tasting. These crackers are the most boring water crackers in the world. They almost take any flavor that might be in your mouth and erase it, which is what you should do so that you can really taste the wine. This wine, blended with care, combines 5 noble grapes so you can taste the poetry bottled. Back on the road, see, this is a little different than the last one, huh? Not as much land on either side. It's kind of flat. And this is a good dip. Whoa, that was kind of fun. All right. I'm on my way eventually to Mystic Hills, which was a very special experience, as you will see. All of the wineries were different. I love old barns. I think they're just amazing. There's a story there that none of us will probably ever know. I didn't love every wine the same. Not every experience was as much fun, but all in all, it was great. One thing about this trail is that even though all the vineyards and wineries were different, they're united. They want to win awards, but they still want to support each other. I'm at Mystic Hills. It's incredible. The drive was fascinating. A narrow, curvy road, but a nice road. And surrounded by hills. I'm sure I'll show you some of that video because I did video my drive. And Joel and Judy, who own and run the place, are wonderful. They've given me so much incredible information and such warmth and welcome. I feel like I'm a guest they invited here just to hang out. And they brought out one of their absolute best wines, a Bordeaux. I don't know much about that, and it's rich and deep, flavorful, and just wonderful like everything else. I hate to just be so boring with one adjective. I could just, maybe I'll just have to come and move into their patio back here because it's perfect. And when I pulled up out front, the only thing, truly the only thing, were birds. Just heard the birds. On the hillside are cattle. Down in the valley there are horses. In the sky, raptors, my favorite kind of bird. It's just been, I'm so glad that I came all the way out here, and you need to too. But you gotta make a reservation and follow Judy's directions. Do not do your GPS. This is Joel's truck. It's very special, it's very rare, and I got a ride in it. I'm so excited. Oh, I want to do this. And this is an owl box. You will see them on beside so many vineyards. It's for owls.
When we trim all the canes off. You can see there's a place from the year before and little nubs and like here, and then the new year comes, and in the spring they grow all new canes and the leaves come on them and it just grows, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. Joel is an award-winning, even an Academy Award-winning film editor. He works with Clint Eastwood and has had lots of success and lots of accolades. There's also a very small old schoolhouse in this area of San Miguel. The address of these wineries is San Miguel, not Paso, even though it's really right next door. I'm here at the Tackett family winery. Look at the hills. It's a very chilly day today, but I'm back on the Pleasant Valley Wine Trail. Listen. Can you hear the birds? I'm going to see if you can. But anyway, I'm here at the Tackett family. It's 11 in the morning. It's freezing cold. Well, for me. I hear there's a blizzard coming to Sioux Falls area. So apparently this is not freezing cold. I love driving out here. And it's even kind of pretty on a day like today, where it looks like something could happen with the weather.
Leon Tackett was in the Navy and was an explosive ordnance disposal person, EOD. And today, they've developed a second line of wines called Cane Cellars, and all of the proceeds of that go to the EOD Warrior Foundation. Leon's son is presently in the Navy as a Navy diver, and this is, now I'm going to step outside of the tasting room and see what's out back. I'm bringing you along for the ride.
Looks like somebody's got a little shooting range down there.
I hope you can notice that there are lots of oak trees up here in this area. That is an oak tree. I think they're so magnificent because they're so crooked and twisty. And when my niece was really little and we went on drives toward Northern California in the wintertime, she'd call them devil trees.
And I think this is a great time, even though it's not all green. I think it's kind of extra special that it's not. You gotta have equipment to make wine. It's not just grapes. Apparently it's also stainless steel.
I was exploring out back on my own. Nobody else was there. I loved all these oak leaves. They're so pretty. And they were just blanketing everything.
And this is obviously where old wine barrels go to die. Look at all the staves. I so would like to just grab one and stick it in the car, but maybe I should not. You know, this is a cool idea. This wall is made from staves. Oh, I like that. And just out of curiosity, this is the back part. Not as attractive, but you know, it's there. Empty wine bottles ready to be filled, decorated with dried oak leaves. I like it.
And now it's on to Bonice, another very interesting winery. Again, it's just spectacular everywhere. And this is special because it's got a pig.
Check this out. I'm at Bonice Cellars. Look at the view. I can't because I'm looking at you, but I hope you can see it. I can't see it, it's so bright out. Look at that. Look at that. Rocking chairs, maybe. And on a cold night, you have a fire. Oh, and there's a ticket, a double rocker. And again, that stave wall. And you can hear the flag flapping. Because it's a little breezy here with that whole wall. So apparently winemakers do a lot of building with staves, which I never thought of, but it's really art. I think that pig saw the movie Babe, and now he wants to be a sheepdog. Oh.
Kind of wander in and out on his own. You can't quite fit through that one. So.
The owner, Melanie, was a nurse in the military. I forgot the name of the pig. I can't believe it. And this is Barkley the dog. The Pleasant Valley Wine Trail, as you might have gathered, is not a one-day event because there are so many wineries and so many roads.
Okay, I am at Ranchita Canyon Winery now. This is probably the biggest facility on the Pleasant Valley Winery Trail that I've come across so far. It's beautiful, but this is definitely not the little, complete mom and pop. It may have been a mom and pop, and now it's a mom and pop and others kind of place. It's glorious though. You gotta come here. You cannot beat the oak trees here. They're just magnificent, even though it's winter, so they don't have their leaves. But it's gloriously magnificent. Look at that. Here we go. I'm going to be walking to the tasting room. I just came back, or I'm done with Bonice, which was a lot of fun. Now this one, I hear they might have some charcuterie mark, which would be good because I've had a wine tasting, now I'm having another wine tasting, and I might need a bite of something to balance my wine tasting. Okay, I'm walking. I'm out of the driveway. Look at this. This is like, wow. This is like the wineries on the big trails. And the lions will welcome me. Look at the vineyards in the back now, and the beautiful oak tree. In the spring, summer, those hills are going to be just brilliantly green. And in the fall, those same hills are going to be brilliantly yellow and orangey. Okay, I made a mistake. I followed my GPS. This is one of the wineries I'm going to visit, but look, we're here now, so I'm not going to, I am. This is Via Saint Julien. I'm supposed to be at Ranchita Canyon, so this big fancy one is Via Saint Julien, and it's beautiful. And I'm going to sit, and they have a kitchen. They have a kitchen, and the food looks good, and food smells good. So I will have to call the other place, let them know I screwed up. Oops, surprise! They have some lovely wines here. I'm only halfway through the list. The sandwich, get the chicken mushroom sandwich, incredible. The wines, so far, so very good. But what's surprising to me is that this winery is not in any way, shape, or form similar to the others on this wine trail. The others are small, intimate. You're right there with honestly, with the owners, winemakers even, their family members. It's an intimate setting. This one is not. I'm happy here. I encourage you to come, but this is much more like the big wineries that you will find on all the other parts of Paso. But hit it up, especially because it's got lunch, and great lunch. So, go to a couple of the other ones that don't have lunch, have some wine, enjoy that little, I'm part of the family experience, and then come here for I'm in a really nice, fancy winery with great wines and great food. And then tomorrow, go back on the road and go to some of the small ones that make you feel like family again. Legs, Mark, legs. Look at those legs, Mark. Yeah, you're cut out.
This is my best picture of a raptor because they're always flying. On this day, the road was just kind of normal, but what was amazing to me was the sky. I was fascinated, and that's why I had to put all the sky video in there. So please forgive me. It was my joy. And now I'm going to Ranchita Canyon, where I was headed when I ended up at San Juliet. You have to look closely to the left, and you will see like a little tornado of leaves. It was so interesting that I just had to film it. And then now I'm at Ranchita Canyon. I tried to find you guys before, and I ended up at the Saint Julien one, or whatever it is. Do people do that a lot?
Kind of, or they miss VSJ and then come out here. So.
I had a couple days off the wine trail. Now I'm going back to 2 wineries. It's a bit foggy here. There is sun peeking through now. Okay, look, there's the momentum in the truck and the fog in the background. And I'm going to be heading to the road. That cool Pleasant Valley Trail that's really kind of fun to drive on and interesting every time I drive it. I'm going again.
Towards San Miguel.
What I've done previous to this is I have taken a lot of video as I'm driving to these wineries on Pleasant Valley. And this time I'm taking a video just on the 101 right now, just because it's so funny. Notice the fog lying in the hills. It's really quite mystical. Enjoy. I was trying to be quiet so you could kind of meditate for a moment, but I'm back. I am at Canne Cellars, and I'm going to have my first tasting of the day. I'm only doing 2. I couldn't. You know what? Maybe a couple years ago I could do 3. I don't think I could do 3. Definitely not if I was driving. So, this is tasting number 1. I'm going to turn the camera around. So it's a big, like, corrugated building. Big corrugated building. And I know it's a production facility, but they also do their tastings here. So here we go, going to go in to the tasting room. Hello, how are you? Good. That guy is the owner and winemaker. He didn't want to be on camera, so I just got him that way before I even asked. I think this is the most interesting thing. I've always wondered, how many grapes does it take? There you go. And from all my lessons, I can tell you they use French oak, Hungarian oak, and American oak, and I did not suck the wine out of that bottle. This was a rare section of flatland. As you might have noticed before, there are lots of hills and curves, and right here, flat. Now it's graveyard cellars. There seriously is a graveyard. There you go. At the beginning of the property. I'm sure that's why it was called Graveyard Cellars, and I love the name. The wines, also very good. The views, also magnificent. The taste room has a look of a church. It's named Graveyard, so let's see if that was intentional or if I'm just crazy. Or both. Beautiful little pond. I'm walking, and look, it's got some ducks. And if you look way on the other side, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I swear he's real, because I watched him for a second, because he just seemed not to move, but an egret or a heron or something. Move. Oh, can you see him? He took a step. Oops. Come on, bird. Take another step. I want to go through these doors, because I like them. Yeah, those are cool. Like they are barn doors. Like barn doors? No, they are. I could vacation here. Beautiful warm fire. Hello. Ooh, a coffin. This is really beautiful. Oops, sorry. And I'm getting the best wine education I think I've ever had. I'm learning so much. I gotta find out what the guy's name is. I think he's the owner, but I'll find out. Look, we had, oh, we're there. Oakley, it's elsewhere. Now today we have, I call them maple leaves, maybe they're not, but they're close enough to maple leaves. Look at that. Oh, Canada. I'm at my second winery today. Look at my eyes. Oh, you can't see because I have my dark glasses on. I wanted you to see if I was drunk. No, I'm not, but I am a little bit happy, and I'm happy you're here. I am at River Star Winery. River Star Ranch Winery, excuse me. So I will be going in for my tasting. And it's cool. Now, forget the word cool. It's interesting and kind of amazing and a nice thing that they all have their own styles.
And most of them also have puppies of some sort. This is the puppy at River Star Ranch. He's cute.
You know how I kind of got confused about some things with which winery I was going to? Well, apparently I was also a little confused here because I thought they had a charcuterie, which they do, but not at this time. So when I got there, I said, oh, I ordered a charcuterie too. And the lovely young woman who was pouring felt bad for me and gave me a piece of her pizza because there was no charcuterie. At the graveyard, I met this group of incredible women who were from Southern California. Oxnard, Ventura, Carpinteria, etc. And we kind of bonded, and here we are. I'm having them write down their information so I can send them an email or something, and I haven't done that yet, but I'm going to. I'm hoping when I get to Santa Clarita, we can meet up for wine or beer. I really enjoyed them and hope they enjoyed me at least half as much as I enjoyed them.
Look at that. These are domesticated sheep, and they got a bunch of bighorn, wild, interesting looking sheep. Those are cool. View after view is incredible here. I'm now going to Vino Vargas.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we have the burn
No, I
pile.
kind of like the burn pile.
Yeah,
You don't get that everywhere.
it's authentic.
It's totally authentic. And it's not that bad.
So we have been here in Paso Robles, IAVA, San Miguel, about 6 years now. And so we started out just as winemakers, buying our grapes from other good wine growers, producers. And now we've actually planted our own, but we're sort of doubling down on our sparkling wine program. So we do method Champenois sparkling wines. We do a Brut Blanc de Blanc, which is Chardonnay base, a Rosé that's a blend of Pinot and Chardonnay, and then a Rosé and a Blanc de Noir of Pinot Noir. So yeah.
For being here 6 years, you guys are, I mean, it's not like you're just starting out with a little bit. You've got
No, and I mean, we had started out, we started out like 11 years ago without a winery, without a vineyard.
With a dream.
With a dream. Well, with a passion for wine, right? We enjoyed wine. We love wine. My husband was an engineer originally in Silicon Valley, and he got kind of bitten by the bug of wine and wanting to understand the process better. So he went to UC Davis. So he studied enology at UC Davis and received a certificate in winemaking from them. And he graduated in 2011, and that was the first year that we made our commercial wine. So prior to that, he was making hobby wine for 5 years, I think, prior to that.
Oh, that's nice.
So when he got his commercial wine license, I was sort of like, okay, now what, right? Well, he went ahead and he just said, well, I'm going to just purchase, some grapes, and I'm going to have it done at one of those custom crush places. So the first year we only had 4 reds.
That's right.
Yeah. So we started with those 4 grapes, and then the next year we added a couple of whites. It was sort of like it just kind of grew. And I mean, the beautiful thing about buying grapes is you can kind of just keep growing your portfolio without having to wait for grapes to mature and ripen.
True.
Yeah. So that was the kind of the advantage.
And so, did you produce these grapes in your house?
Well, no. So the first year was at a custom crush place.
Okay.
The second year, Pedro had gotten a job. Pedro Vargas, my husband. He had gotten a job as an assistant winemaker at a family winery in Gilroy, of all places. It's an old Italian farm winery, and had been there 3 generations.
Wow.
And they needed somebody to help them, with some of the technical stuff and just tracking all the inventory. Part of the deal was he could help them do their thing, and he would get paid a small consulting fee, but he could also make his own wine there. So the 2nd through 5th years, we all made our wines there at Fortina. So, and then by then we finally had found this property, gotten the winery built, and started producing our wines here. So from half of 15 and on, we've been producing here. And then we've only been growing since like 2018. And I'm amazed when I find out how many people get into the wine business with just that little information, like, oh, I love wine, so I'm going to buy a winery. And it's like, oh God, there's a lot to it. Pedro's kind of a scientist in terms of his engineering background, and he enjoys that part of it. But he's also kind of the artist, kind of creative guy. So it really is a nice blend of art and science. And I think that's what he loves so much about it. All right, well, let me go grab you another one. Okay. So I am a certified sommelier.
I'm so impressed. Okay.
So, yeah, I went to a culinary school and studied wine for 6 months, and then I took the Guild of Master Sommeliers exam, which is a 3-day exam. It involves writing exam or written exam, knowledge exam, and then it's a tasting exam. So you're blind tasting red and a white wine. But you have to identify at least identify the region and the varietal. You know, the vintage can be off a little bit or whatever, but you have to at least get within, you know, striking distance of what it really is. And then you also have to do service, where you actually have to, like, you know, pretend that you're serving you know, a master sommelier, taking his order and helping him make a decision on which wine to choose.
That is so cool. I've seen movies about you.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's challenging. It's like you have to be very focused on it when you're doing it. And I considered, you know, taking the more advanced certification levels. I mean, such a dedication and such a focus that's required. And I was like, yeah, you know, I think I'm good.
Locatelli is a bigger vineyard and winery than Arndt from before, but as you saw from the left, they're in the same building.
I am here at Locatelli Winery, and I was greeted by, look, she's adorable. I don't know her name yet, but she's my new friend. Okay, so it's really nice here. I'm going to be having some wine. I did stop by, I think it was earlier in the week, like on Monday, but they were getting all kinds of orders delivered and all kinds of weird things were happening. So they asked if I could come back, and I was like, sure, what the heck. And so now here I am for my wine tasting. I'm going to switch this around so you can see what I'm seeing. This is the view. Excuse me, every view on this Paso Pleasant Valley wine trail is incredible. Now look at this old thing. It's huge. I know it's a wine cask of some kind. I don't think it's being used, but who knows? Maybe it is. Nice area for parties and hanging out. There's Fee waiting for me. And as usual, something I just love, chairs and furniture made out of wine barrels and staves. And this is a really great idea for a 50-gallon barrel, although I don't think this was ever a barrel, because it's such thick steel. And here is that cool wine barrel chair. And it's interesting, all the different styles. I mean, I've seen rockers made out of wine staves before. This one is totally different. A little bit more clever and artistic, and I figured out what this is. Look, you put your wine glass in there. Oh my God, this is perfect. In case I was wondering, there are a number of signs, so you'd have to miss a bunch of them. And then here is something interesting, corrugated wall with taps on it. Oh, and up at the top, okay, taps on it. There's Cindy, and you probably can't read it yet. Beer. Oh. At Mystic Hills, Joel took me on a ride to the vineyard in his old Chevy truck. I don't think this truck's going to be taking me anywhere, but here's the step. It's a Ford. I'm looking inside now. Not a comfortable place to sit. Ooh, and the gas tank's right there. Very nice. This is just beautiful. And the truck is welcoming me.
They have a new wine called Paso Nuovo, and it's very much like the French Beaujolais Nouveau. It's a very mild, gentle wine, just put in the bottles and not aged, so it's as close to grape wine as you can get. Mark, I think this is your wine. The boy on the left in this picture is the winemaker and owner today. I didn't meet him, but I've heard about him. They've just started making spirits from their grapes.
Okay, this is the far corner of the tasting room. Now, when I tried to come on Monday, one of the things that was happening is they were putting in a whole new, HVAC system. I'm not even there yet. And everything came out, had to go in. They did all kinds of crazy stuff. So They really couldn't do a wine tasting, but they got everything back, and it really is lovely in here. The wines are big, but they're not overpowering. So I think this is a great place for people to come to try some of their reds and get an introduction into true, delicious red wine.
I would like to thank the Academy and everyone who has been a part of my career in filmmaking. I tried to make it everywhere, but I missed the Hearst Ranch Winery. Neither here nor there. Had a wonderful time. And I have lots of memories. And I can't wait to go back. I really am going to hit these wineries again. They were fabulous. Each and every one of them had one or more bottles that I tried that were delicious. And I bought bottles at each one of them. It'd be great if we could sit down and share a glass.